What's up, guys? I'm Carter Chapman. This is Rad Boys Club, and I'm here with
Leo Baldiga, and today we are here with some sad news and a J Dilla album review.
some other news, too.
And some other news.
I guess the big thing to start the show off would be the fact that Prince passed away yesterday as of recording this.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, Prince. Legendary musician, vocalist, arguably one of the most talented musicians ever.
Multi-instrumentalist.
One of the only people, I think, to ever truly create art and pop simultaneously. A lot of people can do one or the other. Very few people, I think, have ever been able to do both. And I think that's one of the most impressive things about Prince. His career spanned a very long time.
Oh, yeah. He's released so many albums.
He's released a lot of music. He records all of his own music, which is just really cool to
Highly
see.
Influential in hip-hop, in R&B, in pop music, and in rock.
He also had the movie of Purple Rain, which was pretty sweet.
And the soundtrack.
And the album is legendary. One of my top 10 albums of all time, in my opinion.
My favorite Prince album is probably Around the World in a Day, even though it's really kind of weird. But
Yeah. Purple Rain is really good. The song is amazing. The fact that just the ending is like 3.5 minutes long is awesome. It mixes like gospel with rock and roll and pop and R&B and everything.
Funk and just,
it's awesome.
Prince is amazing.
The
if
drums,
you don't listen to Prince, you need to listen to Prince.
Yeah, you really should get into it. He doesn't have any music on streaming, so you're going to have to buy
Tidal.
music.
He's on Tidal.
Oh, he's on Tidal?
He's on Tidal.
Never mind, he's on Tidal.
My Tidal subscription ends in 7 days.
So you're getting all the Prince you can out of it. I happen to just own a bunch of Prince because of my parents. So
I have Prince records.
It's cool.
Non-digital.
Yeah, he's pretty awesome. Like, a lot of good drum machine usage, surprisingly. Like, digitized drums were used on Purple Rain. It's pretty awesome. When Doves Cry is one of the, like, coolest guitar solo intros ever.
Absolutely.
Dude was kind of a fashion icon in a way. He has the greatest Super Bowl halftime performance of all time, undoubtedly, in my opinion.
Undoubtedly?
Undoubtedly.
MJ's comes pretty close, though.
Better than Michael Jackson, better than Beyonce and Coldplay, which everyone our age seems to think was the greatest thing ever.
Formation's nice,
but it was nothing compared to Prince.
No Prince.
Prince's halftime performance consisted of him coming out during a monsoon. It was like raining sideways, and his stage was in the shape of the symbol that is actually his name, I guess, because he's the artist formerly known as Prince. His stage is like the symbol-shaped stage, obviously, and it's made of tile, and it's soaking wet, and he has these two twin dancers with him that are wearing like 8-inch heels and are like dancing perfectly, even though the tile is like horrifically slippery. He used 4 different electric guitars in the performance. He had a marching band perform with him.
Really?
He started with he opened with Go Crazy, which was pretty sweet, and then he went into Best of You by Foo Fighters, which was like
really
awesome in a weird way. And then I feel like he played something else, and then he goes on to do Purple Rain. In the rain, and his guitar is in the shape of the symbol too, and it doesn't work at first, and he's like singing like in the intro, and then he yells through the microphone, or like sings through the microphone, "Will someone please let me play this guitar?" And then it like turns on, and he like does the solo. Yeah. And he at one point just stops singing and like just lets the crowd keep singing, and it's like super awesome and super powerful. And if you haven't looked it up, it's on the NFL's YouTube channel. Links all about here. Anyways. So we're very sad to see Prince go away. I thought what they did with his Twitter was really cool.
Yeah,
with the glasses.
They took his glasses off and they left his third eye open because he had the tri-sunglasses.
Which was pretty cool.
Also, Frank Ocean wrote a really, really touching tribute on his Tumblr. Link to that in the description as well.
Yeah, Frank's... It was nice
still
of Frank
no
to do
album,
something.
But...
Maybe it was like what happened with Dre and Rehab. Is that the name of the unreleased Dre album? Or Detox, yeah. Maybe that's what happened with like Dre and Detox. Like, he made Boys Don't Cry, and it just wasn't that good compared to Chanel Orange. So he was like, I can't release this. I'm just going to go back on my promise. That's my theory. But again, Frank Ocean's so good that can he really make bad music? I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. Anyway.
Interesting that we mentioned Frank Ocean because we do have some odd future gang member news. Tyler, the Creator, is doing his first fashion show. True runway presentation this June in L.A. because L.A.'s basically getting its own fashion week now.
Really?
Yeah, they're doing like a bunch of shows now.
What other shows are there?
I don't remember, but it was basically like the whole entire scene is moving westward to L.A. from New York, they said.
I don't know how I feel about that.
I don't know how I feel about that either, because I feel as though I've been to New York City a bunch of times, and I love New York. I don't know if I would like L.A. as much.
Yeah, L.A.'s...
You have to drive in L.A. Like, L.A. has like... is too big.
Yeah.
Not to say that New York's small or anything, but
LA is not as real as New York, I feel.
Yeah, LA just seems very, very fake.
But anyway.
So continuing on to some sports news, our beloved Detroit Red Wings were knocked out of the playoffs last night by the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Whose general manager? Did you watch the game?
I watched the third period.
Me too. It was 0-0 all the way up until 4 minutes left.
Yeah, and then Peter Mrazek just kind of got stuck in a weird position, and there was a really good pass from the corner by Peter Mrazek. For those who don't know,
did you see that goal? Who scored on Tampa Bay?
Did they call it back?
No, it was a goal, but like the way he did it is one of his teammates passed it to him, and he like just whacked his stick behind his leg, and that's how it went in.
Oh, I didn't see that.
It was crazy. The instant replay was crazy.
Yeah. So we're sad to see that go, and with the Red Wings losing, the beloved center number 13, Pavel Datsyuk, will be more than likely announcing his retirement any day now from the NHL. He's won 2 Stanley Cups here. He's been pretty phenomenal his entire career. He's won the Selke Trophy multiple times, which for those of you who don't know is the best.
Is he captain or assistant?
He's assistant captain. His English isn't good enough. He's from Russia. He's won the Selke Award multiple times, which is the best defensive offenseman. So the person that basically plays on both ends of the ice the best. He's led the league in steals like a bunch of different times. He's just a phenomenal player all around. He's the Magic Man. I don't know what else there is to say about him.
Yeah, he's not quite Steve Yzerman, but he's pretty damn close.
Which is funny that you mentioned Steve Yzerman, because Steve Yzerman, who was the captain of the Red Wings for a very long time, won 3 or 4 Stanley Cups here, has been awesome. And, his number is retired. He's the general manager for Tampa Bay, who just eliminated us from the playoffs. So that's kind of funny. So on to some less saddened news. We have an album review.
Yeah, the new J Dilla album, The Diary. J Dilla, legendary underground rapper and producer from the mid-'90s, worked with Tribe Called Quest, Busta Rhymes, Erykah Badu, The Roots, Common, all sorts of different awesome 90s R&B and hip-hop acts. He passed away in 2006, and this is his 6th album released posthumous.
That's on some Young Thug stuff right there.
He just had stacks and stacks and stacks of songs.
Like, I feel like when Young Thug when Young Thug dies, he'll be able to release like 9 albums after he dies.
When's Young Thug gonna die though?
Maybe never. They'll like give him. He'll have heart failure, and he'll like just get a pig's heart transplanted into him, and he'll live forever.
We'll see.
So. This album was pretty interesting. The best way to explain it is in an overview way, which might not make sense to anyone who isn't from our area, is it's just the most Detroit-sounding album you've probably ever heard.
Yeah, just about. It's kind of a mess, but at the same time, it's really, really good.
And there are some really good tracks on this album. I really like the Shining Part 1.
There's no continuity whatsoever.
No, none at all.
But
I like the Shining Part 1.
It's all great, so.
Yeah, I like the Shining Part 1, which you have listed on your notes, which is pretty good. I thought it was like, I don't know, just kind of like a nice upbeat track. But
yeah. The intro, starting off with the intro, the beat sounds like, it reminds me of the Daft Punk Tron soundtrack for some reason. And it's like all like really like cyber future synths, and he's like rapping about how he's the young kid from the hood, hustled to the top of the game, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, and it's good, and how he has diamonds and how they're a lady's best friend. And I'm sorry, on the intro.
On the intro.
I'm confused. Yeah. And it was good, and he kind of reps Detroit really hard, and it's good.
Absolutely.
My, without a doubt, favorite song in this album, and probably yours too, is Trucks.
Trucks.
Which is an Eminem song waiting to happen, honestly. I'm surprised that Marshall didn't just pop in somewhere, which would have maybe ruined the track. We are very interesting people in the fact that we are white people from the greater Detroit area who don't like Eminem, which is a very... very rare
combination.
I would say that I don't like Eminem. I haven't liked anything Eminem has done since like Marshall Mathers LP, but
even that is iffy.
Yeah, not a huge fan. But
anyway,
killed in
Trucks. Trucks is basically, if you've ever heard the song Gary Newman by Gary Newman called Cars. Like this really, really weird like late 60s.
I thought that song's from the 80s.
Is it?
Yeah, it has synths in it, so it's probably 70s or 80s.
I'm pretty sure it's late 60s.
Really?
It was really, really early for its time.
Yeah, it's kind of iconic in a weird way.
Yeah, like one of the very first male pop artists to wear like heavy eyeshadow. But
yeah, it's pretty good. But this song is like a hip hop remake of it about trucks.
like hood remix.
Like talking about trapping in trucks, basically.
Yeah, it's absolutely hilarious and simultaneously awesome at the same time.
It's actually so good, though.
Yeah.
He does have a Snoop Dogg feature.
Yeah,
on this
the
album.
Snoop Dogg feature is really good, actually.
I would say that that's one of two notable features on this album.
Yeah, that feature is, well, it's probably one of the best Snoop Dogg features I've heard in a while, mostly because this was all recorded like in 2003 and 2004.
So it was before Snoop really took a dive.
Yeah, but
the other
it's pretty good. The
other notable feature being the fact that he has a Nas feature on this album.
Where's the Nas feature?
The Nas feature is on. Let me look it up really quick. Continue talking about something else.
Yeah, but the Snoop Dogg feature, it's on this G-Funk, like, classic Snoop Dogg beat.
The Sickness.
Sounds like Gin and Juice, kind of like that sort of L.A. sound.
Yeah. The Sickness has Nas in it. It's the second to last track on the album.
Oh.
It's pretty good. I'm not that into Nas, per se. But
I'm a huge fan of Illmatic, but
everyone's a fan of Illmatic.
Everything else that Nas has released has never really like struck a chord with me like that.
Well, and I'm a huge Jay-Z hype beast, and they've had beef throughout the years, so I'm probably going to side with Jay-Z. Jay-Z's the greatest rapper alive. You can fight me on that.
Yeah, maybe.
Man doesn't write anything down. He's a legend. Black Album is iconic.
I agree with Black Album is iconic, but I wouldn't say he's the greatest rapper of all time.
Greatest rapper alive. That was the catch.
Greatest rapper alive. Okay, maybe. There's a NWA reference, F the Police.
Doesn't really sound similar at all.
Doesn't sound similar, but he's got the general theme.
It loses a bit
there.
of its like edgy sting by the fact that he has a disclaimer at the beginning of it where he's like, "We do not condone violence against law officials, and these are just the views expressed solely by the artist and no one else."
Yeah.
So it kind of loses some of its oomph, but it's still pretty good.
It was still pretty good.
He kind of talks about how corrupt the police are, which in Detroit would not surprise me because there are 0 cops in the entire city of Detroit.
Response time is like what?
45 minutes?
45, 55 minutes. It's awful.
There was a huge trial because someone got their house broken into in Detroit, and the guy had it happen to him 2 or 3 times by like the same kids. And he chased one of them down and like shot and killed him on the street. And his whole defense was the fact that he didn't think the cops would come to actually like get the kids in time, so he had to shoot him. And the kid eventually died because he was shot. I don't think he like murdered him in cold blood, but it's kind of a good analysis of Detroit.
Analysis, yeah.
All these years later, he's been dead for 10 years, and he's still releasing music that has relevancy.
Yeah. I really like the song So Far on this. It's got a great, awesome beat, like cool vocal sample in here. It's a great key melody. It kind of sounds like a Kanye beat almost. The only complaint about this song, though, is that his vocals on this are mixed horribly, and they clip throughout the entire song. And it's just like fuzzy in your headphones, and it could have been done way better.
One thing I appreciate about Dilla is the fact that he is a Dr. Dre, Kanye West, Tyler the Creator type who actually produces his own music.
Yeah.
And I very much respect that. And Father is also another rapper who produces a lot of his own work. I think that just adds an extra I don't know. I think people rap the best over stuff that they create or things that Metro Boomin does. But that's just my opinion. And I thought that for a producer, his flow is very, very good.
Especially on, as you were saying, The Shining Part 1, he's got this awesome like R&B thing from Kenny Ray on the hook, and the beat is so funky, and he's just rapping got it like a double entendre about diamonds being a girl's best friend and how he's icing with his girl's best friend around his neck or whatever.
Yeah, and like stealing girls. It's pretty funny and pretty
such
wild.
A great song.
Mm-hmm. I really did enjoy this album. I haven't listened to it enough, but I thought it was pretty solid all in all.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There are some obvious flaws with on The Creep. I didn't really like the beat on that. It did not like flow with the vocals at all. But like overall the album is just kind of discontinuous, but there are some hidden gems in here.
Yeah.
It seems a little bit unfinished, but he's dead, so.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
It is, as you said, really heavily influenced by Detroit, has a distinct Detroit sound.
It does. Detroit has the sound that's really hard to explain, but you know it when you hear it.
Chicago meets New York, but...
Yeah, because, like, if you've ever seen the movie 8 Mile, Eminem's character, Rabbit, kind of talks about how he doesn't get the whole East Coast, West Coast beef between Biggie and Tupac. And it kind of is a good analogy for the fact that Detroit's not
just kind of out
purely
here.
Influenced by Atlanta, New York, Chicago, or LA.
We've got our own influences. We've got Motown. We've got hard rock. We've got
a huge punk scene. I mean, Iggy and the Stooges are from Ann Arbor, so that's not too far from Detroit. And a lot of good musicians have come from the greater Detroit area. The White Stripes, Bob Seger. I'm not going to name the obvious ones.
Motown.
All of Motown.
Motown.
Yeah. The Supremes,
Nina Simone, Stevie Wonder, Marvin Gaye,
Minnie Riperton.
All of those Motown artists.
Motown is phenomenal, and if you have never listened to Motown, you need to change that because Motown
is possibly the best music created in the 20th century.
Yeah, and I would say the big emphasizing one there to not forget who's Motown is, or the big two would probably definitely, without a doubt, in my opinion, be Marvin Gaye and the Jackson 5.
Oh, absolutely.
The Jackson 5 didn't really record in the Motown studios. They were recording in Gary, Indiana, but they were released through.
When they were starting out, they did.
Yeah. But the fact that Marvin Gaye is a Motown musician, I think a lot of people overlook.
They just gloss over it.
But I would say that Marvin Gaye is probably
a lot larger pop appeal than a lot of Motown artists.
And I would say that Marvin Gaye is also arguably the greatest vocalist of all time. Just raw vocals. The man is amazing.
Maybe. But anyway, back to the Dilla album.
Oh, yeah, back to Dilla.
There's a lot of great material here. It's just a little bit thrown off by the unfinished beats and kind of lackluster vocals at times, even though there are some really, really well-produced gems of songs on here. If you haven't listened to Dilla, go listen to his best album, Donuts, which is his last album he released before he died. It's great. Awesome production, awesome flows. He doesn't rap as much on Donuts as he does on here.
Is it kind of like a DJ Khaled thing where...
kind of more of a DJ Khaled... I wouldn't call it a DJ Khaled because DJ Khaled does Dilla's thing, but...
Right.
It's really good album. Overall, I'd probably give it about a 6.5 out of 10.
I would agree with that. We still have some time left before we hit our usual mark, and I have a topic that I think we should discuss.
All right.
I think we should go over our top 5 albums of all time, if you could name them in no particular order to start with. Do you have your 5 favorite albums?
No particular order. The Smashing Pumpkins, Melancholy and Infinite Sadness. No, this is no particular order. Prince and the Revolution, Around the World in a Day.
Okay.
Pink Floyd, The Wall.
That's a solid choice.
You
got 2 more. Use them wisely.
2 more.
Who's influenced you, Leo? It's a hard question to answer.
Yeah, I mean, let me think.
I'll fill in what you think for a minute. I would say my 5 in no particular order are as follows. Enter the 36 Chambers by the Wu-Tang Clan. Arguably
either that or the Notorious B.I.G.
Yeah, I would. So
would probably be my 4th.
Yeah. For me, it's 36 Chambers. This is kind of a weird one because everyone says The Queen is Dead is the best Smiths album, but I'm going to say that Hatful of Hollow is my favorite Smiths album because it's the rawest of them all. Because it has all the John Peel session stuff on it where it was mixed on the spot and it's just the way that it sounded, and I like all those versions of the songs better. My 3rd would be Reinventing Axl Rose by Against Me, which is I don't know if a lot of people know about that. Against Me is a band from Naples, Florida who started making anarchist punk, and then a few 3 or 4 years ago the lead singer came out as being transgender.
And now they sing about being transgender.
Yeah, now they kind of sing about trans rights and stuff, but they're pretty awesome. Phenomenal live. I would say they sound better live than they do in the studio, which is something I massively respect about musicians. My 4th best album of all time, this is a cheese one. I'm going to have to say Zeppelin 4, because Zeppelin 4 is really good. It's horrible, but it's good at the same time.
I actually listened to Zeppelin 4 this morning.
That's hilarious.
On vinyl, yeah.
And then my 5th favorite album of all time, I'm going to say is Purple Rain.
Purple Rain?
And I would say that is my top 5.
I figured out what my 5th one is. Sigur Rós' Untitled album.
That's pretty good.
It's such a good album. It's not all instrumental, but it's all in Icelandic, so you can't understand any of it. But it's the most beautiful post-rock you will ever hear.
Yeah.
It's absolutely, just shivers inducing. It's amazing.
I'll throw some honorable mentions into the mix with the American Football EP is pretty good.
True.
If you ever need some really like complex mathy like emo to listen to, American Football.
Yeah.
So good.
Pretty good.
And then I'll throw
the Who Tommy.
Yeah.
Rock opera Tommy.
Yeah. And then I'll throw another.
Actually, fun fact about the rock opera Tommy. Did you know that they performed it for the first time in Detroit?
That's pretty awesome. I didn't know that.
Grandy Ballroom, man.
That's pretty sweet. And then I'll give my last honorable mention to the Black Album by Jay-Z. I listened to that album a lot in middle school. It really shaped me as a person. We do have some good things coming up on the podcast the next few weeks. We have a new Drake album releasing, which will be interesting for our two opinions. It comes out, next
really
week?
Like Drake, but we'll see.
Yeah. Matt, are you saying it comes out next week? Does it come out next?
Comes out on the 29th.
Yeah, so in 7 days that album will be out. Thank you, producer Matt, for the info. Yep. Future will probably be releasing a project any day now because it's been 3 weeks. So
yeah, we'll see.
Expect some new Future.
Maybe. Young Thug announced a new album. I Came From Nothing 4.
Oh yeah, and we have the new Travis Scott Young Thug collab that came out.
True.
Which is supposed to be really good.
Chances said he's releasing.
Chance is going to release a new
Chance
mixtape.
3 or different thing.
Chance the Rapper.
Right. No, but isn't Chance 3 his next album?
He's releasing a new mixtape.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge Chance fan per se, but I'll listen to it.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have some good stuff. Make sure you follow us on all of our social medias. Links will be in the description and on the screen right now. Please stay tuned. If you enjoyed this, please give it a like. It means a lot to us. It helps us know that we're doing a good job. If you have any constructive criticism, leave us a comment because we will definitely look at it and take it into consideration.
Yep.
And peace. Have a good day.
Check us out on SoundCloud and YouTube. Subscribe, like, and follow.
Yeah. Normal plugging. Please be nice to us. We like doing this.
We love you. Bye.
Goodbye.
Rest in peace, Prince.